Today's show is all about Tyler Herro. Are Miami not going to deal the shooting guard that a lot of Heat fans wanted to trade? There is a report/rumor out there by an NBA insider that suggests the Heat are not going to look to trade Tyler Herro this offseason, and we got to talk about it. But first, make sure you follow me over on Twitter because I have the latest Heat news, rumors, highlights as well. It's been a very fun offseason in terms of Summer League for Miami, where I'm posting highlights, stats, and make sure you get everything on the Heat's young players, as well as the news and rumors. Handles at Nic_Rohloff. I'm following back the first 10 people that give me a follow on today's show, so follow me right now. All right, here is the report/rumor from Jake Fischer, who had the note, saying, for Herro's contract, his scoring ability, age, and potential he flashed as a playmaker last season, the 24-year-old still stands as the proverbial centerpiece to any package Miami would have to send out the door to acquire a talent like the Heat once hoped for in Damian Lillard. This is the part that's important to me, though. Although, to be clear, there's been no trade chatter of substance on Herro to note at this time. So this kind of points to the direction that there has been absolutely no discussion with a trade of Tyler Herro. I know many people thought there was discussions happening when the Heat were still in the DeMar DeRozan sweepstakes because many speculated, like yours truly, that they could be moving off Herro for a first-round pick, free up the salary to then offer a bigger contract to DeRozan. Evidently, that was never the case, and it never happened. And I don't think they're going to give him away for nothing. To me, I know people want Herro gone. I understand that. And I understand the want and need for this roster to change because you just continue to run it back with Herro, Jimmy, Bam for 6 straight seasons. How much do you expect to change when you have the same core returning after year after year after year? But they're simply not going to dump him for nothing. Like, sure, if they trade him away for a first-round pick and then use the cap space or extra picks to go make a trade, sure, but they're not dumping Herro just to dump him and not have another plan to add to this roster and replace Herro with another impact player. I know Herro gets a lot of hate, but you heard it. He's 24 years old still. He's averaged 20 points per game in 3 straight seasons and is one of the best shooters in the NBA, shooting 39% in 2 years of the last 3 from 3 and 38% in the other year. Yes, the one issue with Tyler is his durability. As you see on screen, he missed almost half the season this past year. He missed 15 games in 22-23, missed 16 games in 21-22, and played and missed about 20 games in 2020-21. So he misses a lot of games. But when you just look at the player, he is a good basketball player. As much as people try to act like he is not, he is a decent guy who adds a lot and is a player that teams would like to have on their roster, considering he still is 24 years old. Like, you don't find many 24-year-olds who have already averaged 20 points per game a season in 3 straight years. He's a good player. There are some drawbacks defensively and injury-wise that kind of hinder his ability to be someone on a championship contending team, but he is still a solid piece many teams would want. It's just all about that contract, too, which we'll talk about in a second. But let me know, will Tyler Herro be traded this offseason? Training camp starts in October. Will Herro still be on the roster by then? Yes or no? Let me know down below. I talked about Tyler being a good player, and I do believe he is a good basketball player. I do. Like, you simply don't average 20 points per game in the NBA without being a good basketball player. And I actually do believe he can be the 4th player on a championship team in terms of option/best player. He just needs to stay healthy and he needs to perform better in the playoffs. Because if you remember and go back to when Herro flashed onto the scene as a rookie in the playoffs and in that run to the NBA Finals where they came up short, he averaged 16 points per game on decent efficiency in 21 playoff games. Remember something key there? He was the 4th option. Jimmy, Bam, Goran Dragic were all options ahead of him. But then going forward, you lose Dragic, you lose other pieces. You ask Tyler to be a third guy in the lead guard on a playoff-led team, and it just simply hasn't gone as well as he has been inefficient and not able to have as good as a year in the postseason as his initial rookie year in the bubble. And sure, maybe people have adjusted to his play style, thrown different coverages at him, but I think there's something to him being the second scoring guard on that bubble team to Goran Dragic, and then the remaining postseason runs, him always being the lead guard. I think when you're the lead guard, you get a lot of different coverages thrown at you, and defenses take you a lot more seriously, which has led to his struggles a little bit. But the contract issues is also probably the main reason why people want Tyler Herro gone. Like, people don't like the fact that he's got 3 years left, and he's getting paid basically $30 million a year over the next 3 years. I understand that. But it's not his fault. Like, if you want to blame someone for Herro, it needs to be Pat Riley in this front office, which, by the way, this is all revisionist history because when Herro got this 4-year contract extension, a couple of off seasons ago, no one complained about it. I vividly remember, this was before the Heat report was even incepted, by the way, that this was a good contract. Getting him at $30 million per season over 4 years for 120, like I thought that was a good deal. And I will stand by at the time it was a good deal. It's just a shame that Herro hasn't been able to elevate. But I don't think anyone can really blame him for seeking out that contract because at the time he deserved it and the Heat expected him to take another step. We'll continue the conversation here in just a second, but make sure you get these Miami Heat draft hats. I think they could be worn just normal, and I know the draft is a couple months ago, or a month ago per se, but I still think you should get your hat because you can rep the hat that Kel'el Ware wore when he got selected by the Miami Heat, and Kel'el has been absolutely lighting it up in Summer League, so it's nice to rep this bad boy. A little cross action with the cream color. I like that beige. You can get it now, chatsports.com/Heat Draft Hats. They have fitted, adjustable, curved, flap rim. They have every type of style you want. Chatsports.com/Heat Draft Hats is where you can get it. Links in the description and comments. Let's continue the conversation on Tyler because I don't see a world where they trade him this offseason. And it's unfortunate because I have been under the expectation and assumption that they'd probably try to move off of him. But after seeing what has happened thus far in the postseason, I don't see Herro getting traded. And it's not what I think should happen. It's just what I think will happen. And I want to make this clear because there are players out there I would trade 14 for that are realistic this offseason. Lauri Markkanen, Trae Young, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma. Lauri would cost quite a bit. It would cost you Jaquez, Herro, maybe Jovic in a first. But if you could try to swing just Jaquez and Herro, I don't know. It's tough, but he's going to cost you a lot. Trae Young, I don't think the Hawks want to move off of him like that anymore, so I don't see a Trae Young trade happening. Brandon Ingram's intriguing because you trade Herro, but you'd have to trade BI. You wouldn't have to trade much other than Tyler Herro, and Ingram is a better player in a vacuum. And I've talked about Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma and Herro are on the same tier as me, but Kuzma having 3 years left on his deal, getting paid 23, 21, and then 19 in comparison to Herro's 30, 32, 33 is a much more friendlier contract and fits next to Bam and Jimmy nicely. So I would trade Kuzma for them. But if I'm going to be honest, like I just don't think Miami is interested in any of those four guys. I don't. Like, if they were interested in Lauri Markkanen, I think we would have heard more about that at this point in the juncture of the offseason. I've heard multiple reports that they don't really have an interest in Trae Young, and I don't know if Atlanta really wants to trade him anyway. And it doesn't feel like Kuzma is a big enough addition in Miami's eye to shake up the roster and trade Tyler Herro. So to me, this all results and leads to a big year for Tyler. It is. And I think we said this last year too, but this really is, right? Like, Herro going to survive another offseason. And he's going to need to prove he can be a winning piece and really contribute to winning. He needs to stay healthy. He needs to average a consistent number and have an efficient stat line. Like, this is a big year to prove to the front office, to the fans, that he deserves to be on this roster and in this long-term build alongside Bam Adebayo. So what are the expectations? Well, let me answer them to the best of my ability here. I know Herro's averaged 20 points per game in the last 3 seasons. I would rather have Tyler average 16, 17 points a game, but be more efficient. because he shoots the most on the team. He shoots damn near 18, 20 shots a game, and he shot 8 threes last season a game for Miami in the 42 games he played. So, one, I want Tyler to play 70 games or more. You miss 12 games, that's fine. Rest, wear and tear throughout the year. But give me 70 games for the first time in your career. Also, give me a more efficient shooting. And with Terry Rozier coming back to the roster, I think he is going to get more shot attempts, which would take away from Tyler, an increased role for Jaquez, more Bam shots, get him more aggressive, and Jimmy more aggressive in the regular season. Like, dial back Tyler's shots, let him average an efficient 16 points a game. Terry gives you an efficient 16 potentially. Jimmy averages 23, 24 as he's motivated to have a good regular season. Bam gets an upgrade in volume and efficiency with his three-point shot continuing to develop. He averages 22, 23 points a game, first time in the 20s for him in his career. Like, I think that's a better recipe for success for Miami, where you have your top two guys in Bam, Jimmy, average 23 to 24 points a game efficiently and do their two-way stuff, and then you have your two lead guards give you a 16 to 17 a game as they have a dialed-back volume and they're more efficient. To me, that's the best recipe for success for Miami, and then you throw in the role players with Jaquez, Jovic, Duncan, Alec Burks, and the rest of the crew. That's the way that I forecast Miami having the most success in this upcoming season. Now we'll see if it actually happens. But predict it for me, and we'll close out the show here. How many points will Tyler Herro average in 2024 and 2025 season? I'd like to see him 16 and do that more efficiently, but I'll project 18.5. I do think it goes down because of Jaquez, Jovic, Kalel Ware, Rozier being here for a full year, but I'll go 18.5 for Tyler. Make sure you are subscribed as well because we are going to have daily content on the Miami Heat. Not going to be live for the Heat Summer League game on Friday, but if they do win and end up making the Summer League semifinals, as they are currently the number one seed, as their 3-0 record, 15-point differential, they've been terrific, we'll be back live for those Summer League games. So make sure you subscribe and join us because we have daily content here at the Heat Report.